The internet today, it just feels like a different beast than even, say, a few years back.
Oh, definitely. It's so dynamic, constantly shifting.
Yeah, and there's just this flood of information coming at you daily. It's hard to keep track.
It really is. So how do you cut through that noise?
Well, that's exactly what we're trying to do today. We're going deep on 10 key trends. These aren't just, buzzwords. They're actually reshaping the internet right now.
Exactly. We've kind of waded through it all to pull out what we think are the 10 biggest forces at play. Consider this your quick guide to the really critical shifts happening online.
Absolutely. Forget minor tweaks. These are pretty fundamental. We're talking about things like the hold short-form video has on us.
Right. And the explosion of AI-generated content, what that actually means.
And how social media is turning into, well, basically a giant online mall. Social commerce.
And the surprising rise of really specific online niche communities.
We'll also dig into the tech behind it, all the stuff keeping it running and hopefully secure. Things like edge computing.
Which is changing where data actually gets processed.
Yeah, and the whole cybersecurity landscape, which is, always evolving, isn't it?
Constantly.
And then the big drivers, how businesses are changing with digital transformation.
The growing smarts of AI.
The cloud continuing its revolution.
And blockchain. Its potential impact way beyond just finance.
So, 10 trends. All linked up, all really crucial for understanding where the web is going.
And we won't just list them off. We want to explore why they matter. I mean, think about this. Did you know the average person spends more time watching short-form video each day than, eating meals?
Wow, really?
Yeah. Or that AI can now create images so realistic you often can't tell them apart from actual photos.
Okay, that's wild. Let's start unpacking this, maybe with the one that feels most obvious right now. Short-form video, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, they just keep growing.
The popularity is, undeniable. And what's really interesting is how they've nailed this snackable content idea.
Snackable content.
Or this micro-moment revolution. Our attention spans, or maybe just how we choose to focus, seem geared towards these super short, engaging video bursts.
They grab you in, the first second.
Exactly.
Designed for
So
it.
it's almost a reflex now, isn't it? That endless swipe up. And they all do short video, but they feel different. TikTok, Shorts, Reels.
Yeah.
They have their own, flavor. They definitely do. Each has its own vibe, its own algorithm magic, its own main audience. TikTok really pioneered that discovery algorithm. It's incredibly good at finding stuff you'll watch.
Right.
YouTube Shorts taps into YouTube's massive existing user base and library.
Makes sense.
And Reels leverages Instagram's visual focus and, your social connections there.
So what's the secret sauce? Why are they so addictive? Keeps us scrolling. Is it just random chance what comes next?
Yeah.
Or the algorithm knowing us too well?
It's probably a mix of things. The algorithms are scarily good at learning what you like and just feeding you more of it nonstop. Plus, the short format means, almost no commitment. You watch one, then another. It doesn't feel like a big-time investment.
Yeah, just one more.
Exactly. And there's definitely a bit of a dopamine hit with each new video that catches your eye.
And it's not just wasting time, is it? I mean, think how fast a sound or a dance challenge spreads. It actually shapes culture, music, fashion.
Absolutely. It's become this incredibly powerful engine for cultural transmission. Trends pop up and spread at lightning speed.
Yeah.
And it's also, kind of democratized content creation.
Yeah.
Anyone with a phone can potentially reach a huge audience.
So if you're a business trying to get noticed, how do you even play in this world? Short attention spans, platform-specific vibes?
That's the challenge. Brands have to learn the language, create really concise, visually interesting stuff that feels native to TikTok or Reels or Shorts.
Right.
Often it's less about super polished ads and more about something raw, relatable, maybe entertaining. Authenticity matters.
Okay, let's switch gears. Something equally huge, AI-generated content. It feels like every day there's a new tool popping up that writes text or creates images from a prompt.
It's moving incredibly fast. Did you hear about that AI-generated artwork that actually won a competition? Caused quite a stir.
I did see that. It's wild.
And what's really key here is this idea of AI's generative capabilities. These aren't just simple programs, they're complex models.
Right. Trained on just massive amounts of data.
Exactly. And that lets them create genuinely new stuff, images, text, audio, even video clips now.
And there are different types of these AI models, right? Like gens and transformers.
Yeah, those are two big ones. Generative adversarial networks, GNs, kind of work like two AIs competing. One makes fakes, the other tries to spot them.
Huh. So they push each other to get better.
Basically, yeah. For images especially, transformer models are really good at understanding context in sequences like language, so they excel at writing text that flows naturally.
But how does an AI learn to be creative? It doesn't have feelings or life experiences.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It learns by finding patterns. Millions and millions of patterns in the data it's trained on.
Okay.
So it sees millions of pictures of cats, learns what catness looks like statistically, and then it can generate a new image that fits those statistical patterns.
So it's like super sophisticated pattern matching and recombination.
In a way, yes. It's data-driven synthesis.
Yeah.
But the results are getting so good that we often perceive them as creative. It definitely blurs the lines.
Yeah, it raises big questions about what creativity even is, doesn't it? Is it just recombining existing things in novel ways or something more?
It really does. And right now, a lot of AI output still reflects the patterns and sometimes the biases of its training data.
Right.
But the tech is improving so fast, that line between imitation and something truly novel is getting fuzzier all the time.
And it's moving beyond just being a cool trick, right? We're seeing actual uses now, like companies using AI to draft marketing emails or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's becoming a practical tool, generating initial design ideas, drafting routine emails or reports, even helping scientists form new hypotheses based on data patterns. It's speeding things up across lots of industries.
Okay, third trend. How our social feeds are basically turning into shop windows.
Yeah.
Social commerce. Seems like you can buy almost anything without leaving Instagram or TikTok now.
It's a huge trend. Trillions in sales projected soon, apparently.
Wow.
It's this integration of, well, hanging out online and shopping, making it seamless, embedding it right into our social lives.
What's pushing this? Why merge social and shopping?
Well, convenience is a big one. See it, like it, buy it right there, no clicking off to another site. Plus, the power of influence. Seeing people you follow, maybe even friends, recommend something. That's powerful.
More trustworthy than a random ad, maybe?
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
And the platforms themselves are building the tools, integrated shops, shoppable live streams.
Right, I've seen those live streams where people demo products.
Exactly. Direct purchase buttons on posts, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. They're all investing heavily in this.
And for us, the users, what's the appeal beyond just being easy?
I think trust plays a role, like you said.
Yeah.
And the social discovery part. Finding things through people you connect with, it feels more organic sometimes. There can be a community feel around it, too.
And for businesses, it must be a golden opportunity. Reaching people where they already spend hours scrolling.
Absolutely. It's direct access, more personalized engagement, leveraging that social proof, and just shortening the path from seeing something cool to actually buying it.
You know, it's funny how the internet feels massive, but also really specific sometimes. Which brings us to niche communities, people finding their tribes online in really focused groups.
Yeah, it's like the big public squares are fragmenting a bit. Instead of everyone being in one or two giant places, you see these smaller, super dedicated groups popping up everywhere.
And some are really niche, right? Like collecting obscure vintage toys or following some tiny music subgenre.
Totally. The variety is incredible. From super obscure hobbies to passionate groups around more common interests, but maybe a specific aspect of that interest.
Like a forum just for owners of a specific rare dog breed or something.
Exactly. Or a Discord server for people learning, I don't know, Klingon. Or a Reddit group for fans of a particular sci-fi author. It caters to everything.
So what need do these fill? Why are people drawn to these smaller ponds?
I think it's connection, mostly. Finding people who really get your specific passion.
Validation, too.
Yeah, validation. And access to deep, specialized knowledge or discussion you wouldn't find on, say, mainstream Facebook.
And they live on all sorts of platforms, right? Not just the big names.
Definitely not. Discord is huge for this. Reddit, obviously, with its subreddits. Dedicated forums that have been around forever, even smaller focused social networks, they all offer different structures.
And these groups can build really strong cultures, can't they? Inside jokes, shared history.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That shared focus off of the smaller size, it fosters a real sense of belonging. You can build quite deep relationships in those spaces.
Okay, let's pivot to the tech side a bit. Something that makes everything faster. Edge computing. Sounds technical, but it affects us daily, right? Like websites loading quicker.
It plays a big role, yeah. Basically, edge computing is about moving processing power and data storage closer to where it's actually being used.
So not all the way back to some huge distant data center.
Exactly. Think of it like setting up mini processing hubs geographically closer to you and your devices. Proximity is the key word.
And the main benefit is speed.
Primarily, yes. Lower latency. Latency is that delay, the time it takes for data to travel back and forth. Processing closer reduces that delay significantly.
Which matters for?
Things that need instant responses.
Yeah.
Self-driving cars making split-second decisions based on sensor data.
Right.
Industrial robots needing immediate feedback. Even things like smooth augmented reality experiences. Low latency is crucial.
Got it. And does it also help with just the sheer amount of data flying around?
It does. You can filter and process some data right at the edge, locally, so maybe only the important summaries or alerts get sent back to the main cloud.
Ah, so it saves bandwidth.
Saves bandwidth, can reduce data transmission costs. Yeah.
Does it make things more reliable too? Like, if the main internet connection hiccups, can the local stuff keep running?
In many cases, yes.
Yeah.
It adds resilience. A smart factory, for example, might need its critical machines to keep operating, even if the link to the central cloud is down for a bit. Edge processing allows for that.
Okay. Impossible to talk internet without talking cybersecurity. It feels like every day there's another breach, another threat.
It's a constant battle, unfortunately. And the costs are staggering, trillions of dollars projected annually from cybercrime soon.
Yeah, it's grim.
And with so much of our lives, our economy, our infrastructure online, protecting it is just paramount. The threats keep getting more sophisticated.
And there are so many different types of threats too. Malware, phishing, ransomware.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep straight.
Those are definitely the big categories. Malware covers things like viruses and worms, designed to harm systems. Phishing uses deception to trick people into giving up info.
Right, those fake emails or texts.
Exactly. Ransomware locks up your data and demands payment. DDoS attacks flood servers to knock services offline.
Uh-huh.
Then you have things like APTs, advanced persistent threats, which are usually sophisticated, long-term attacks often by state actors or organized crime.
Yeah.
And you can't forget insider threats either.
And the fact that everything's connected, that just creates more openings, right? Like smart thermostats or something being a weak link.
That's a huge part of the problem. The Internet of Things, IoT devices, often have weaker security. Software always has potential vulnerabilities. Human error is a massive factor.
Clicking the wrong link.
Clicking the wrong link, weak passwords. Then there's supply chain attacks, where attackers compromise a trusted vendor to get into their customer systems. And just old, outdated legacy systems that are hard to secure. Lots of vulnerabilities.
So what can we actually do? Individuals, businesses, it feels overwhelming.
It can feel that way, but the human element is critical.
Yeah.
Education and awareness training are number one. Teaching people how to spot phishing, why strong passwords matter, the importance of multi-factor authentication.
MFA, right, that extra code.
That extra code, exactly. Keeping software updated is huge, too, as updates often patch security holes. And just being generally careful about data privacy. Basic digital hygiene goes a long way.
But it's also a tech fight, isn't it? Like an arms race.
It absolutely is. Defenses are constantly evolving, too. We're seeing AI used more for detecting threats faster. Next-gen firewalls are smarter. Tools like EDR and SIEM help companies monitor everything.
EDR.
Endpoint detection and response watching computers and devices for suspicious activity. Security information and event management, collecting logs from everywhere to spot patterns. Plus, threat intelligence platforms for sharing info on new attacks. Even blockchain is being looked at for some security uses.
And governments are stepping in more too, right? With regulations.
Yes, definitely. Data breach notification laws, forcing companies to tell you if your data was stolen. Industry rules like HIPAA for healthcare, PCI DSS for payments, and more international cooperation to track down cybercriminals. The regulatory landscape is definitely tightening.
Okay, let's shift to how businesses themselves are changing. Digital transformation. We hear that phrase a lot. What does it actually mean?
Fundamentally, it's about businesses rethinking how they work, how they deliver value, how they compete, using digital tech strategically across the board.
So it's not just like getting a new website?
No, it's much deeper. It's about changing processes, culture, strategy. It could mean moving to the cloud for flexibility, using data analytics way more to make decisions, automating tasks, finding new ways to interact with customers online. It touches pretty much every part of the business.
And we talked about AI for content, but AI's role is way bigger in business transformation too, right?
Oh, massively. We mentioned AI chatbots for customer service. Handling tons of queries now. But it's also used for things like optimizing supply chains, detecting fraudulent transactions, personalizing marketing, even helping doctors analyze medical images. Its applications are incredibly broad.
And a lot of this digital transformation, and frankly, most of the trends we've discussed, they rely heavily on cloud computing, don't they?
Absolutely. The cloud is sort of the foundational engine for so much of this. And it's not standing still either. The cloud itself is evolving.
How so? What's changing in the cloud world?
Well, we're seeing it mature. More companies are using hybrid cloud, mixing their own servers with public cloud services. Or multi-cloud using different providers like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud for different things.
Right, not putting all eggs in one basket.
Exactly. And more specialized clouds are emerging. Clouds designed specifically for finance or healthcare with their specific compliance needs met. Even sovereign clouds to meet national data laws.
And what about serverless? That sounds like a big shift. Function as a service.
It is. Serverless or FaaS lets developers run code without worrying about managing the underlying servers at all. The cloud provider handles it.
So you just upload your function, and it runs when needed.
Pretty much. It's often event-driven runs in response to something happening.
Yeah.
It's highly scalable and can be very cost-effective because you often only pay for the exact compute time you use.
And AI and machine learning are all tangled up with the cloud now, too.
Deeply integrated. The major cloud platforms are where most AI development and deployment happens now. They offer the specialized hardware needed, like GPUs.
Right, the graphics cards.
Yeah, and TPUs. Plus, pre-built AI services for things like understanding language or recognizing images. They make powerful AI tools much more accessible.
It's interesting you mentioned edge computing earlier. They sound like opposites, edge being closed, cloud being central, but they work together.
Yeah, it's really a symbiotic relationship. Edge handles the immediate local processing, where low latency is key. The cloud provides the massive storage, the heavy-duty analytics, the central management.
So edge filters and reacts quickly, cloud does the big picture stuff.
That's a good way to put it. They complement each other.
And looking even further ahead for cloud, what's on the horizon?
Well, things get pretty sci-fi. People are exploring integrating quantum computing capabilities into the cloud for solving really complex problems. And neuromorphic computing chips, designed more like the human brain, could massively accelerate AI. Still early days, but very exciting potential.
Okay, final trend, blockchain. Often linked just with crypto, but you mentioned its potential is broader, like tracking packages.
That's right. Cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin were the first big use case, but the underlying technology, blockchain, has features that are useful elsewhere.
What are those core features again?
Immutability, once data is recorded, it's extremely hard to change. Transparency records are often visible to participants, decentralization, no single point of control, and consensus rules for how new data gets verified and added.
Okay, so beyond crypto, where is that useful?
Finance still. Definitely still in finance. We're seeing the rise of decentralized finance trying to rebuild financial services without intermediaries. Also, potential for faster, cheaper international payments. Tokenizing assets like real estate.
Tokenizing, like representing a real thing digitally on the blockchain.
Exactly. And managing digital identity more securely, giving users more control.
And the supply chain example you mentioned, tracking goods.
Yes, that's a big one. Because blockchain provides that unchangeable, transparent record. It's great for tracking goods from source to consumer, verifying authenticity, fighting counterfeits, improving efficiency.
Makes sense. And identity stuff, too, giving us more control over our own data.
That's a major goal. Concepts like self-sovereign identity, SSI, use blockchain to let individuals manage their own credentials securely without relying on big companies or governments as intermediaries. It can also help with secure data sharing.
Fascinating, and you could see uses in healthcare records, maybe voting, intellectual property.
People are exploring all of those. Pilot projects are happening, using blockchain's trust and transparency features to solve problems in those areas.
So looking back at all 10 of these, wow. It's clear they're not separate things, are they? They all kind of weave together.
That's maybe the most important point. They're deeply interconnected. Think about it. Short-form video needs the cloud to store and deliver all that content.
Right.
And it needs strong cybersecurity to protect users and the platforms. AI can power better recommendations on those video platforms or create content for them.
And AI can drive social commerce by personalizing offers.
Exactly. And edge computing helps deliver those low-latency experiences, whether it's for video streaming or real-time interactions in a niche community's game server. They all feed into each other.
And the common thread running through almost all of them seems to be data.
Data is the fuel. Absolutely. Training AI models, personalizing experiences, optimizing digital transformation efforts, securing networks, it all relies on collecting, processing, and analyzing vast amounts of data.
And a lot of these trends feel very focused on the user, right? Making
Mhm.
things more personal, more convenient, more engaging for us.
That user centricity is definitely a major driver. The internet is increasingly tailored to individual preferences and needs.
But none of it works without that foundation, does it? The cloud, the edge, the cybersecurity, that underlying infrastructure has to be solid and scalable.
Precisely. That robust, secure, scalable infrastructure is what enables all these other innovations to actually happen and to reach us reliably.
So, wrapping this up, it's clear these 10 trends aren't just blips on the radar. They are major, ongoing shifts shaping our digital world.
That's right. They bring disruptions, absolutely, but also huge opportunities for new innovations, for better connections, for growth.
And it's just so crucial to see them holistically, isn't it? Not as 10 separate items, but as this interconnected web of forces driving the internet's evolution.
Understanding how they interact, their combined weight,
Mm.
that's key to navigating what's coming next, whether you're just using the internet, running a business, or just curious about where things are headed.
It really makes you pause and think about the sheer speed of all this change. And maybe consider, which of these powerful digital forces might reshape your world the most in the years ahead? How do you prepare for that? Definitely something to mull over.